Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 16th, and I'm just going to just do a short update, kind of explain some of the messages I've been getting from my guides and kind of where we're at right now. The problem all of us are having is, including me, I'm always looking for videos out there to confirm what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, or I'm just trying to constantly get information. The problem with trying to find the information out there is, I mean, there's a lot of it. That's the problem, and you have to really sift through it to find out what not only resonates with you, but also, especially being me, because I'm trying to help guide people, like give them some advice to a certain extent. It's from my perspective. You don't have to listen to it, but uh, so I'm always trying to make sure what I say is correct. You know what I mean? I don't want to steer someone wrong. So, uh, but there's a lot of confusion out there, and here's why. And I want to touch on this for sure. Is what a lot of us have noticed is whenever if one side wants to have okay, let's say that there's dark forces and there's light forces, because that's kind of what's going on. It's really pretty extreme right now. Whereas the people helping from behind the scenes, as well as what the dark guys have got planned, is they try to it's like a big game of chess type of thing, and they try to use the same sort of intel to either guide or misguide both everybody. So what I mean by that is, like, whenever, for instance, whenever they come up with a concept or an idea, it's like, well, gee, let's wake up, everybody, wake up, we're in a sleep type of thing, and then they decide, well, hey, let's use that, and we'll call it the woke. So now you've got, like, the bad version of waking up is woke, and then there's wake up. Are you awake? So they want to make confusion. So they're trying to blur the lines of distinction. So they're trying to make it as confusing as possible, including, for instance, this a financial reset was planned decades and decades ago, because we all kind of realized that the fiat money system we're in right now it's just based on just digits, just numbers. It's not real money. So what the good guys had planned for a long time was this Nasera Jacera thing, and it's mostly about. And I want to try to kind of help clarify as much as I can. It's trying to change a money system uh, that is corrupt and easily manipulated into something that's not corrupt and you can't easily manipulate it. So I mean, it's quite the project what they have going. Um, and we all know that basically it's going to have to be managed by supercomputers, but hopefully a supercomputer that's not going to be able to be hacked. So it's going to be unhackable, all this stuff. But what I was going to use for an example of that is, we'll call it the Great Reset. Well, the bad guys come up with their versions too, and they call it the Great Reset as well. Try to confuse the two, but it's going to be basically a currency reset too. So there's going to be, because right now, whether you realize or not, especially if you're not into finance or something, but all the currencies are kept at certain rates for the benefits of the elite only. So in other words, you want to keep a currency down really, really low in a third world country, which shouldn't be a third world country. We should all be equal. The only reason why they're a third world country or a developing country is because they're being kept down. It's not because they're not smart enough to have a great economy. So in other words, it's artificially kept down. And they do that on purpose because they're using people. So if they keep their currency really, really low there, if they manipulate the markets, then everybody's going to say, well, okay, we'll use them as our slave labor. They're all worker bees, and we'll just use them and keep their currency low compared to ours. That's been going on for a long time. So we're trying to reset everything so it's actually all on an even playing level. And we're all equal, and we're all. This is about helping humanity around the world. It's not about sort of making our lives better over here or something. It's going to be making everybody's lives better all around the world. So, but anyway, so I guess I'm just trying to bring the attention to the fact that they use these terms that we want to do, that the good guys and us want things to be done right and good, but they use the same terms, but usually for an opposite reason. They do that a lot, including what's coming up is going to be, well, you hear this thing of build back better or whatever, and they're trying to sell that to everybody. But of course, we're going to build back better. You know what I mean? So they don't have the monopoly on that little quote or something. But for us, it's going to be like a new world, a new free world. And we are going to build back, and it's going to be a lot better. But with their system, it sounds like, okay, now nobody has to work anymore. We're all going to have our money controlled by computers. Whatever. Their concept of that and our concept of that is different. So that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Is my guides keep saying, be careful of the confusion out there. There's a lot of confusion, including. Here's another thing that is constantly going on is, especially it started 2 years ago, is what the bad guys intended for this flu, this super exaggerated flu season. It was actually nefarious. It was really bad. They were trying to take out billions and billions of people. But the good guys are onto it, and with off-world help, I'll just say it, we changed that deadly disease, sort of. I have to be careful with my words, as you know. That they've changed that into something just so it isn't so bad. So it's basically spoiling their plans because they wanted millions of people to die, and sure enough, that's not what's happening. There's not like this huge rate, and so I mean, so that's another thing that's going on is what it seems like something's going on really bad. What the good guys are doing is they're turning it around into something good. I'll give you another example. Is 5G was supposed to be really, really bad. It was supposed to activate, whether it's nanobots in our system and mess with us, whatever. But they've basically fixed that problem. And from what I've heard, it's in progress. But they're going to change those towers into something positive. Again, it's like they're taking something negative and they're using it for a positive reason now. They're going forward in the future. They're going to make use of those towers and basically be sending off. It's like Tesla. They're going to be Tesla towers, so it'll be free energy or something. Or take for instance even deadly satellites out there. They've basically taken them over. The good guys have taken them over, and now they're using them for good purposes. So that's the reason why we're living in really crazy times right now, because we're getting mixed messages all the time. It's like, those satellites are bad. No, the satellites are good. And, oh, that money reset, it's bad. No, but it's good. And, so we're getting all that. So it's pretty hard to stay focused. And I got to admit, what makes it difficult is try to stay in the middle of the road where, we're getting messages, one going one way, one going the other. And you have to pick, which one's right, so this is like this giant psyop is going on, which really adds to the confusion. And believe me, it's not the good guys that are being confusing. It's the bad guys are basically trying to make things as confusing as possible, so it makes it hard for everybody to make good decisions. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Is it's still kind of hectic because we're getting mixed messages. So I'm just saying, I guess ultimately what I'm going to try to make it clear, at the end of this video here, is the good guys that are fighting for us and with us, because we're fighting along with them, have got it under control, whether we see it or not. So it'll look like it's a crazy situation, and it's like it looks like it's really going south, but it's not. It's actually they're they've decided to keep the facade up. They're using it for the benefit of waking people up. Like take for instance, whether it's problems along the border, they're onto it, or a possible war or something. No, all wars. We're going into a future of peace too. That's another thing. That's why it wasn't a coincidence that, yeah, in the bad people, our controllers that were controlling our world before, were trying to start World War III with North Korea and things like that. That was absolutely that was one of the timelines, one of the really bad timelines. But we've got out of that. And if you noticed, under the last administration, let me put it that way, it was all about peace, about going to countries and saying, hey, let's be pals, let's not fight each other. And it was trying to create a peaceful world, because going forward, that's part of the deal. What it is there can't be any aggression from one country to another from now on. We're trying to create a peaceful world, which is happening, but it's kind of just behind the scenes. So you're going to hear lots of rumors of, possible wars and attacks and whatever, and including earthquakes and tsunamis. You're going to hear all those terrible things, but I'm just saying they've got it under control. So really, we can. I'm not saying sit back and relax and do nothing, but I'm just saying don't worry, because see, that's kind of the main tool for the dark entities, is they're trying to keep our fear levels up. So another thing I got heads up on, by the way, is the shots that people are getting is probably 90% saline. Like there's hardly anything deadly out there, so we don't have to worry about our relatives that are getting it. If anything, some people. It's actually, there's some things inside there that are actually probably helping them out, because it's kind of meant to offset all of the other shots we've had in the past. Let me put it that way, because believe me, the shots we've had in the past, they weren't good. They were saying it's because it's a new flu season, and here, I mean, who knows what's in those needles? Anyway, it wasn't doing us good. So, so the people that are sticking to their guns and saying, "Listen, we don't need those shots. We need to build up our immune system." Right. That's totally right, and you're right to think like that. But I'm saying don't worry about people that do get that, because it's not going to be as bad as we thought. Again, it's one of those, we're getting mixed messages. It's like, oh, it's going to create a really bad thing out there. It's like, no, it's actually, there's kind of false information going on all the time. So we have to just be careful what we fall for. Let me put it this way. I guess the golden rule is, if it's fearful, it's wrong. Simple as that. So it's that two opposites, faith and fear, or whatever, however you want to look at it, but being positive or negative. If you stay in a positive mindset, that's what you're going to manifest. So again, that's kind of my little short message for today. And I'm just checking in. Everything's still on schedule. It's taking longer because of that saying of, where we go one, we go all. We're trying to, because eventually it's going to be everybody. We're going to leave nobody behind. We're all going to be together on this. So if it takes longer for people to wake up, then that's part of it. So anyway, stay positive as usual. Like I said, I'm just checking in. Some good things are going to be happening soon. Okay, bye.